Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this important discussion on reverse mortgage options for in-home care. This session is all about empowering active adults to maintain their independence and quality of life by considering a reverse mortgage as an option to support their in-home care and allow them to stay in the home that they love. So my name is Charlene, and I'm a licensed mortgage broker with Bricks Mortgages. I specialize in reverse mortgage options for clients 55 and older. I find the best mortgage solutions for my clients by understanding their current situation and goals, and then presenting 2 to 4 options with a 5-year plan, thereby ensuring that they make a fully educated choice. But before we get started, I'd like to introduce Christina Bradley from Nurse Next Door.
Thanks, Charlene, and hello, everyone. At Nurse Next Door South Fraser, we provide personalized in-home care to seniors to live independently in the comfort of their own homes as long as they want.
So today we're looking into thoughtful financial strategies that can empower you and your loved ones to make informed choices, whether it's funding in-home care, renovating for mobility needs, or simply staying in the home that you love. We also will go through some real-life examples of how families have made these big decisions.
We know from being in business for more than 20 years in the Lower Mainland that most seniors want to stay in their home. Aging in place is the preferred choice for the majority of seniors. Home means so much to people. It's all their memories, it's being able to have their pets, familiarity with their community, and really importantly, the desire for couples who have different levels of care needs to be able to remain together. However, private in-home care services can be costly, and many are not prepared financially.
So what are some of the financial challenges that people are facing in retirement? So many retired adults are living on a fixed income. They're often relying heavily on government pensions and benefits. And also with the high cost of living right now that everyone's facing, it's really making it difficult for people on fixed income. So without additional financial resources, the risk of depleting their savings becomes a very serious concern. But for many, their home is the largest financial asset. And as a result, some people may feel pressure to sell their family home to access those funds. But that's where a reverse mortgage can be a valuable solution. They allow people to unlock their home equity without the need to sell. And since there's no monthly payments required, this option can ease financial strain, freeing up funds that can be used for essential care services or other priorities.
We have found through our many discussions with family that many older adults hesitate to ask their children for financial help due to pride or the desire to just remain independent. It creates a lot of stress for families who may not know how to help.
Right. So how can they preserve their independence and dignity without burdening their children? So let's discuss a few real life examples and how a reverse mortgage was used in each situation to provide the solution they wanted.
Before we jump into that, we've heard a lot of misconceptions during our conversations with family. Can you tell us a little bit about these questions that we've come across? The first question that I have, we've heard that the bank owns the house with a reverse mortgage. Is that true?
No, it's absolutely false. You always maintain title ownership and control of your home. The only requirement is to continue to pay your property taxes and maintain the home. The reverse mortgage lender simply has a first mortgage on title in the same way as a traditional mortgage.
Terrific. Another one that we've heard, that in the end, you'll owe more than the value of your home. Is that even possible?
That has happened in the States, but in Canada, it's federally mandated that all reverse mortgages come with a no negative equity guarantee. So as long as you meet the required mortgage obligations, the amount you owe on the due date will never exceed the fair market value of your home.
Good to clear up that one. The third thing that we've heard is that reverse mortgages are very expensive.
Well, that's false too. So here in Canada, many people have heard in media reports that reverse mortgages are expensive, but it's coming from information from the US where it can cost up to $30,000. But in Canada, the rules are different. Costs around $2,800, which includes an appraisal of your property, closing fees with your lawyer, admin fee, and independent legal advice. So when compared to other options, it's actually a very affordable option.
Great. The last one, you cannot pass your home on to your family in your will. Is this true or false?
Again, this is false. Your heirs will always have the option to keep the property by paying off your reverse mortgage after you pass away. It's just the same as any other type of mortgaged property.
That's great. Thank you for clearing all those misconceptions up. So now I want to jump into some real life examples that we've dealt with together. This is the story of John and Joan Smith, whose names have been changed for privacy reasons. They are both in their late 70s. They've lived in Langley their whole lives. They've got their family home that they raised their children in. And John was diagnosed with Parkinson's a number of years ago, which is progressing. And now recently, he's also had an Alzheimer's diagnosis. Mary is his primary caregiver. They wanted to stay in their own home, but they still have a bit of a mortgage payment, and being faced with the cost of additional modifications such as a wheelchair ramp and a stair lift, plus the cost of Nurse Next Door home care services, the cost, their monthly costs were just increasing. Charlene, can you tell us what was the solution for the Smiths?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, Christina. So here, what we did is after meeting with the Smiths to understand their current situation and their goals, I created a 5-year tailored plan and presented them with a couple of options. So after careful consideration, they chose a reverse mortgage as the best solution for them. This allowed them to pay off their existing mortgage and complete their much needed renovations on their home. So now the Smiths can enjoy peace of mind knowing they can remain in their home for the long term. Their care needs are being fully met with Nurse Next Door, and they can live comfortably without the burden of monthly mortgage payments or the need to sell their home. So they plan to revisit their options in a few years to maintain flexibility as their needs evolve.
This is such a great story, because I'll tell you what would have happened if they hadn't taken these steps with the reverse mortgage. John would have needed to move to a long-term care home. And we know with our current system that could have meant he would have been placed in a home anywhere from 45 minutes to 90 minutes away from where they were currently living, which would have created, first of all, a bit of a trauma perhaps for John to be relocated to a whole new living arrangement without his wife by his side. And then for her to have to travel on a daily basis quite a far ways to be able to engage with him on a daily basis like she wanted to. So this is really a great news story for how they could live happily in their home as long as they want to.
That's great to know.
The next story I want to talk about is the story of Jack. So Jack was 81 years old and living in a townhouse in Abbotsford, but he needed daily support for his increasing care needs. His daughter is a super busy single mom with 2 young kids living in Langley. She helped a lot, but they really needed the services of Nurse Next Door on a daily basis, and balancing everything was really hard for him financially and for her physically. Jack's townhouse was also not suiting his needs anymore. There were some repairs that needed to be done, and there were a lot of stairs, which created a fall risk for him in his particular condition. He didn't want to move to a care home. Charlene, can you explain to us how it is that you helped this client?
Absolutely. So what I did, of course, is I met with Jack and his daughter to explore all the mortgage options. We created a plan that aligned with their goals. So together, they decided the best choice was to sell Jack's townhouse and purchase a condo in Langley, closer to his daughter. After selling off his home, paying off his mortgage, Jack was still faced with a bit of a shortfall, just under $100,000 for the condo purchase. So to cover this gap, he used a reverse mortgage on the new property. And with over $400,000 still available from the reverse mortgage, Jack chose to set up a monthly draw of $2,000 a month to help cover his monthly expenses. So now Jack enjoys financial stability. He lives closer to his family, and he has peace of mind knowing that he doesn't have this mortgage payment weighing on him. His daughter's closer to him. He's got extra funds each month to help his care needs. So they've been very happy with this option.
Tell me, Charlene, in your experience, do a lot of retired homeowners still have a mortgage? It seems to me like by this stage, most people would have their properties paid off since they bought them 20, 30, 50 years ago sometimes.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I have found that many have paid off their mortgage and then they're faced with some unexpected expenses like medical expenses, home repairs, helping family with their finances or down payments on their homes. So they're offered like a HELOC or mortgage where they still can income qualify. But then with the last few years of interest rates increasing, their payments have sometimes doubled or tripled. So this is where a reverse mortgage has helped a lot of people eliminate those monthly payments and ease that pressure.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for helping me understand that. First example I want to talk about is Mary. Mary required the services of Nurse Next Door, and while she had a decent monthly pension, it wasn't quite enough to cover all of her increased medical expenses. Her family was determined to ensure she received this high quality care, but was faced with a tough dilemma. They didn't want to sell the family home, but they also had their own financial responsibilities and couldn't, as children, provide that additional funding that she needed for her care. So their goal was to find a solution that allowed Mary to stay in her cherished home without creating additional financial strain for anyone. Charlene, tell us what the solution was.
Absolutely. Thanks, Christina. So after meeting with Mary and her children to discuss her situation and her goals, it was clear she needed a solution that addressed her immediate needs while providing long-term peace of mind. So she decided to use a reverse mortgage to take a monthly draw of $10,000 tax-free to cover her nursing care needs. So this solution worked best for Mary as it reduced the financial stress on her family. It allowed her to stay in her home with her dignity and comfort intact. So as her property continues to appreciate, her home's equity remains strong even after 5 years.
This was really a great solution for Mary, because if she had decided to go into some sort of an assisted living facility and then decided it wasn't a good fit for her, she couldn't go back to living in her home. There's no way to reverse. Once you've sold your home and you've gotten rid of all of your possessions, there's no going back to that. So for her, it was a really good solution.
Yeah, that's great to know.
It was great to go through some of these examples of how people in our community were able to get solutions to stay in their homes, receive quality home care as long as they wanted to.
Thank you so much, Christina, and thank you for everyone for joining us today. And I hope that we were able to answer most of the questions you may have had around a reverse mortgage to finance in-home care. Just in summary here, if you'd like to learn more about these options or have any other questions about reverse mortgages or other mortgage options, please contact me by phone or email as shown here on the screen. And have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.